my name is Monet. Welcome back to Tick Life. Today I am doing the Teacher Mommy tag in collaboration with Melissa from Teacher Inspiration Station, Everyday Deanda, and Natalie Priester. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but these are some beautiful ladies, and I'm so excited to be collaborating with them to talk about being a mom and a teacher. So I hope you guys really enjoy this video. I will list their channels below, and I'm pretty sure their videos are up. And just go ahead and support their channels by also looking at their perspective on being a teacher and a mom. Okay, so the first question is, how many children do you have and how old are they? So I have two children, and one is 4 and the other is 2, but he'll be 3 in September. So basically a 4 and a 3-year-old, and I have a boy and a girl. Were you a parent first or a teacher first? So I actually had my daughter during my last semester of student teaching. So I was a parent first. Even though before then I had spent time in the classroom, so I was familiar with the responsibilities, the stressors of teaching, but I just did not have my own classroom. So I had my daughter in April and I started teaching in September. How has becoming a parent changed, influenced your role as a teacher? So honestly, I will say being a parent has really helped me to see my students differently. So you know how people say, oh, these are my kids, but they don't have any kids, and I'm not saying that you don't get it, but when you're actually a parent and you have children, you definitely know how you want to treat other people's kids. So when I say that a child is my own, I literally think about my own children and how I want them to be respected, how I want them to be cared for, how I want them to be supported to, how I want them to be uplifted. So it really did like magnify that perspective for me. I also know what would tick a parent off because I'm a parent, so I know what would not go easy with a parent, because if someone said that they did so-and-so to my child, or said so-and-so to my child, or kept my child in for recess for A, B, and C, and didn't have, you know, certain things in line, I would definitely be a concerned parent. So I really do believe being a parent and a teacher really helps you see the whole student and know how to treat the whole student, because in actuality, you know that that is somebody's child, and if it was yours, you would do right by them. And then connection, it says, how has becoming a teacher changed or influenced your role as a parent? Okay, so this is a very difficult question. I have to turn teacher off, and sometimes it's very difficult, especially depending on my type of day. Like on those long days where you really didn't sit down and you really didn't turn off, and it was just boom, 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 and I come home or I come into my household and I have to check my tone, I have to check my mindset. Sometimes I put demands on my little children because I'm thinking, okay, if I teach them this now, if I teach them to share now, if I teach them to wait until they're spoken to, if I teach them to walk in a straight line, like just little stuff, that it'll make it easier for when they go to pre-K. My daughter is actually going to pre-K this year, and so I really do think about them as a student more than probably, you know, a regular parent. A regular parent isn't thinking about, oh, will my child do this in the classroom? But I believe teacher parents, we think about that. So when we see certain behaviors, we're like, oh no, you cannot do that in school. And the child is like, goo goo gaga. Like they don't know what the heck you're talking about. For example, I was at a restaurant and I was just being a mom, and this person came up to me and it was like, I love the way you talk to your children and how you explain things to them, and how you talk to them about good choices and bad choices. And I was like, thank you. But on the other side of my head, I was like, yeah, I do this in my classroom. So I don't treat them as if they're in class. Please don't take it as that. But I really do try to prep them for being in a learning environment or being in an environment with authority that is not mommy. So yeah, I had to learn to turn it off. So when I come across that threshold, I am no longer Miss Mike. I am mommy. Like they don't They're still learning my first name. They just say, "Oh, that's mommy." Like they don't get anything else. So the next question is, do you send your children to daycare during the breaks or when you have holidays off? I wish I sent my children to summer camps and spring break camps and holiday camps. Um, my children, I have been blessed to have my children be kept by my mom. So when I'm off, they're with me. There's nobody else to catch them. Like, I haven't put my money into a daycare. There was a really small window, I think like my third year of teaching, where they did go to like a learning academy. And even then, I didn't want to get up. Like, when it was my winter break or my fall break or my spring break or whatever, I didn't want to get up to take them to daycare and then go back and get in bed. So I just kept them at home. I mean, I'm usually in a class of like 20 something kids anyway. So I mean, if it was like a summer break, I probably would drop them off at summer break so I can have my own time. But for the most part, like when I'm not teaching, I want to be a mom. Like, I want to have them, and I'm not knocking anybody that wakes up and take their children to daycare. I'm definitely not saying that. All I'm saying is, I, number one, have not had that choice because my mom keeps them and she expects me to have my kids when I am not teaching. And then number two, I spend so much time in my classroom that when I am off, I try to spend quality time with my kids, and we go on vacations and we just do things together to keep that bond really strong because it's me and them. The next question is, what advice would you give to a teacher who is pregnant with her first baby? Okay, so this is what I will say. Being, okay, number one, it's okay to feel like you are not ready. Like, trust me, every pregnant mom ever believes they're not ready. Whether they're not ready for actually the labor part, whether they're not ready for like a little life that just looks at you and only wants you. And okay, so number one, do not freak out over maternity plans. Like when you go away for that month or whatever have you, your team or your grade level or your administration, they will figure it out. Like, of course, don't just leave them high and dry. What I did, I think I planned for like the first week because naturally after that, I don't know where they're going to be. I don't know if they got the content, if they did not get the content. So I had a really strong team both. Well, the first time I had her in April, so Shannon didn't count, but Ethan, I had him in September. So I only had 1 month to get my routines and things in place for my students. And then September, I was gone. September 1, he came. So I made plans for 1 week, and then my team just did the rest. I did not go up to the school. I did not take my child up to the school. I was at home making sure that he was good, making sure that we were bonding. You'll be just fine. Don't stress over maternity plans. Advice: enjoy your child. Like, enjoy the experience. I am really big on just enjoying the journey because so quickly do things change where, you know, you're gonna get out of that mommy season. You know, your child isn't always gonna want to hold your hand or kiss you or sleep in the bed with you, or they're gonna go off to college, and just the life changes so quickly. And if we don't enjoy every stage, it'll pass us by. And so just love up on your child. Turn teacher off. Like, you will go back to that. You don't have to check emails. You don't have to plan. I know some people do that, and that's awesome. That's wonderful. You're so organized and ready for life. But don't feel like you have to do that if that's not what you want to do. School will continue. Like, my philosophy with school is, if I were to drop dead in this classroom right now, in the next hour, somebody would be in my class teaching. Regardless, like, my kids will probably be sad, parents probably be sad, my family will be devastated, but at the end of the day, somebody's going to be in that classroom. Your kids are going to be accounted for. So, like, do not stress about returning or leaving or whatever. Definitely have your things in order, again, like with your routines, and maybe have like a 1 week plan. But to say that you have like 4 weeks of plan, how accurate could your plans be, and you're not even there to see if they're growing or decreasing or whatever. So that's my opinion. What's most challenging, rewarding about being a teacher mom? I would say what is most rewarding. I'll start with rewarding. The most rewarding part about being a teacher mom is that I do get breaks. So I am somebody that gets off by at least 5 o'clock. I mean, of course, my school, I think our dismissal was at 2:45, 3:10 or something like that. I think it's 2:45. I'll be doing after school services this year, which is not every day, but I try to be out the building after 1 hour. So if school's over at 2:45, I try to leave by 3:45. So a lot of parents don't have that privilege. I know after school, I have to stay there till 5 o'clock. Again, some parents don't have that privilege. We have weekends off. We have snow days. We have storm days. We have spring break. We have summer break. Like, so that affords me the time to be with my family, to travel, and I have benefits. I mean, there are some really great aspects with teaching and being a parent, because it does allow you to just be on the same system as them. And I'm sorry if I'm not looking at the camera, because I'm like really thinking about these questions and making sure I give my true perspective on the answer. So another reward would definitely be, I have a really good understanding of standards and what's expected at certain developmental stages, and that actually helped me with my daughter. My daughter was delayed in speech, and then when she did start talking, she wasn't saying the beginning sounds or end sounds or certain letters. Like, she's not really good with the F sound or the H sound, or just C sound, G sound. So I early on knew that she could go to a center in my county and they would test her, and she did become qualified for speech therapy. So again, maybe if I wasn't a teacher, I would not have known about that. And she now receives special ed services for speech. And so again, because I'm a teacher, because I studied, early childhood development, I could kind of see that she was off. And that's another thing, as teachers, we can sometimes look at a child and see that something isn't quite right. Not to say that they're stupid, dumb, or delayed in motor skills or whatever have you, but we just have an eye to say, okay, this child needs something extra. And so that is like a reward of being a teacher. So when I had my children, I knew, wow, my daughter is really delayed in speech. Wow, my son is probably going to be gifted because he is so analytical, and I can see him being that child that if you do not challenge him, his behavior is probably going to be a problem. I told my mom that the other day, but when he watches something, he watches and he learns, and he can pronounce certain things, and he definitely does things a little bit higher than his sister. Mind you, they're 14 months apart, so they're not really that far apart, but he just was knocking things out, and he can match things, and I'm like, you shouldn't be able to do that right now. But either way it go, like, I know these things because I'm a teacher. Challenges with being a teacher mom, I think I've listed most of them. Just being able to turn it off. And I would say also having other people be able to turn you off as teacher, because sometimes administration will try you, and it is after hours, and they're sending emails and phone calls and things of that nature. Parents, I don't give my personal number. I think my first year I gave my personal number to certain parents that had students that were challenging or academically low, and I'll never do it again. I didn't have anybody that invaded my personal space, but that's a real risk legally. Like, if something were to happen, then they could say that you crossed that teacher-student relationship boundary, and I don't want any lawsuits or my certification taken, so I don't take that chance anymore. Of course, document, but at the same time, just don't open any doors that don't have to be open. So I don't give my personal information out, but sometimes people don't know when to turn teacher off for you. So that's what I would say, and I hope you enjoyed this video. My children are waking up, so I have to go ahead and post this. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead to Teacher Inspiration Station, Everyday Deanda, and Natalie Priester. I will leave those links below, and I'm so sorry if I murdered your name. So sorry. It is all in love. Thank you for watching. Welcome all new subscribers. I am so excited for my new school year. I hope you've been following along. And if you do not follow me on Instagram, what are you waiting for? Like, I put everything on Instagram, so go ahead and do that now. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.